We have reached the final weekend of the 2024-25 women's college basketball regular season. The Fordham Rams bring their 9-8 conference record, 15-13 overall, down to Davidson, North Carolina for their season finale against the Davidson Wildcats. The Rams are coming off a solid win at home on senior night and their second win of the season against LaSalle, while the Wildcats look to bounce back after a tough loss against A10 top dog Richmond. The Cats are 17-12 overall, but their 12-5 mark in the A10 has them tied with St. Joseph's for the 3 seed. Fordham is also tied in the standings, but for the 8 seed with Duquesne. The A10 tournament is just around the corner, but the Rams have one more order of business to attend to first. From the John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina, it's the Fordham Rams versus the Davidson Wildcats. It's Fordham women's basketball, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tucker Austin, joined by Ben Oppenheimer, and welcome inside of the John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina. Today, ahead of the Fordham Rams season finale versus the Davidson Wildcats. And Ben, though this game won't have much impact in terms of the standings and moving things around, this is still a pretty big test for the Fordham Rams for the last game of the regular season.
Absolutely, Tucker. I couldn't have said it better myself. This is a big challenge for this Fordham team that's, I would say is punched above their weight in terms of going up against opponents that they would be expected to struggle against and then rising to that challenge. So what more perfect way to end the season than having another challenge here in North Carolina, the Tar Heel State. Great basketball state. Great to be here, by the way. It's a beautiful campus, and we're going to see some great basketball today. I think this Fordham team is invigorated. They want to end this season with a bang against a Davidson team that's been very hot this past month of February.
Yeah, 7-game win streak before it was snapped their last game out against the Richmond Spiders. But while we do our player intros in the arena, we will send you to the coach's sound to hear a little bit from Coach B pregame. We're here with Fordham women's basketball head coach Bridgette Mitchell ahead of Fordham's game, the season finale against the Davidson Wildcats. And Coach B, Fordham ranks nationally in forced turnovers per game, the top 70 in the country. How important will it be for your team to disrupt head coach Gail Folk's share, shoot, stifle game plan?
Yeah, it's going to be important for us to arrive on the catch, right? And so if we're late, they're going to get the shot up. And so that's something that we've been emphasizing, arriving there on the catch, ready to guard, and keep in front. And so we've had success in doing that. Despite their size advantage, we're still going to trap and be aggressive because that's what we do. But instead of doing it in the full court, we'll try to look to do a little bit more half court than usual.
Coach, we're here in North Carolina, a state known for college basketball. You went to Duke. Do you feel this is an exciting, challenging way to end the season going up against the Davidson team that's pretty good?
Yeah, I think, for our staff, it's like fun to be down here because I have Leah, who's UNC, and KJ and myself are Duke. But for our players, that means nothing. They see the next opponent, and we haven't faced Davidson yet, right? And so our team has those jitters of like, well, we haven't seen them. We don't know what they're capable of. You show them through film, but it's different when you watch in film, So they're excited. We've been making it a senior week all week. So these last 2 games are for our seniors, not just our home game, but this is our last regular season. So we've been really focusing in on that for each of our kids, our players. Sorry.
And then you mentioned the size of Davidson. They lead the A10 in blocked shots this season. So what will it take to get good open looks against a team that's so good at protecting the rim?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a lot of shot fakes around the rim, but also on the perimeter to get them to close out so that we can use our athleticism and get to the rim. Our goal is to finish through the contact so that we can get to the free throw line and really disrupt what they like to do. Our biggest asset, we've been talking with our team, is our athleticism, so we got to use that today.
Coach, from opening night of this season up to today, what do you think is the biggest improvement or change you've seen in this team?
Yeah, I think the biggest improvement has been in our leadership. People have found their voices, and we didn't, necessarily have that last year, my first year here, and then we didn't have it to start the season. And so for our captains of Rose and Taylor to be able to do what they've been doing, and Renee by her actions and leading, Taya even being the point guard general on the floor and how she's been carrying us with assists, I'm just really proud of how these young women became better leaders this year.
Thank you so much, Coach B. We'll be right back with And we are ready for tip-off, and the tip is up, and it's won by Davidson. And we're underway. Apologies, we didn't have time to get to the starting lineups, but things moving quickly to start. It's Izzy Morgan for Davidson to get things going. She moves it inside for Millie Pryor. Millie Pryor working on Kayla Berry in the paint. Kayla Berry gets her hand on the shot, and it goes out of bounds off of Berry, but a nice block there on the opening sequence for Kayla Berry.
Yes. Definitely both teams showing some energy. Fordham going to need it on the defensive end.
Inbound goes to Charlize Dunn. Now it's moved inside for Thomasine Adenupe. Adenupe sends it back outside for Dunn. Dunn pulls up from the left side near the block. It's no good. Shot clock buzzes, but it's rebounded by Mortua. Taya Davis has it now for the Fordham Rams. It's Taya Davis. It is Shea Harris, it's Kayla Berry, Irene Morua, and Rose Nelson for the Fordham Rams to start out, as it's Taylor Donaldson from downtown, for three to give the Rams the lead. It's 3-0, 9:07 to go in the first.
And she's such an integral part of this offense. Need her to be making shots from beyond the arc.
And a big three comes out for the Davidson Wildcats. That from the hand of Charlize Dunn, an immediate answer, and we're tied at 3. Taya Davis has it for the Rams. She'll slow things down. 8:48 to go here in the first quarter. Taya Davis going to work on Izzy Morgan, now switched off for Thomasine Adenupe. She finds Taylor Donaldson up top. She goes to Irene Morua inside, trying to go with the footwork under the basket, but her layup is no good. Rebounded by Davidson. Here comes Izzy Morgan the other way, looking for an option. Now finds Millie Pryor. Pryor with the dribble handoff to Dunn. Dunn fires for three. It's a little long and goes off the iron, and it'll be out of bounds, but a Fordham player did not touch it before it left the court, so it'll be Fordham's ball.
Both teams really showing some aggression from beyond the arc, but also getting to the basket, passing, finding that read to the basket. We'll see if that continues, that pace, as we get deeper into the first quarter.
Taya Davis working the offense for the Fordham Rams. She finds Kayla Berry. Now it goes back to Taya Davis on the left wing. She moves to the free throw line. Puts up what looked like maybe a pass to Irene Morua. Kind of looked like a floater. It doesn't get to her. It's a turnover by the Fordham Rams. And now Davidson working it in their offensive end. Davidson in their black with pink accented jerseys, and a huge three from... That is Mallory Haynes from the right wing to give the Wildcats a 6-3 lead. And there's going to be a foul called against Katie Donovan of Davidson in transition. It'll give Fordham the ball on the sideline here. 7:37 to go in the first quarter. It's 6-3 Davidson, and all of the scoring in this game, Ben, on three-point shots.
Yeah, and, that's a huge Achilles heel for Fordham. I was there with our very own Madi Dembele for the Fordham versus VCU game last month, and they were just getting killed on the perimeter, shots raining down from three. You don't want the same thing to happen here on the last game of the season versus Davidson, which is a potent offensive team. And also, I just want to note, Davidson leads the conference in opposing three-point percentage. So they not only do they make threes, but they guard the perimeter. They guard the three really well. 26% is how well their opponents shoot from three. That's not so good. And then also you look at opposing points per game. They're sixth in conference, so that means opponents only score around 57 points per game. So the question is, will Fordham be over or under those averages?
Well, the inbound comes from Irene Morwa to restart play after a brief pause. No timeout charge to either side, but a brief stoppage in play, and now it's resumed once again. Morwa has it on the right wing for Fordham. Now it's Taylor Donaldson driving into the lane, goes up with the left hand. It's no good. It's rebounded by Millie Pryor. And now the other way comes Charlize Dunn and the Davidson Wildcats. Guarded closely by Taylor Donaldson, now on the right wing. Now it comes back across for Dunn. She puts up a three. It's short off the iron. Taylor Donaldson with the rebound, and she gathers it, and we'll move it the other way. Taylor Donaldson wearing that mask that we saw in the last game, though she is available. And a deep three comes from Taylor Donaldson. That's no good. Off the pass from Taya Davis. It's rebounded again by Charlize Dunn. Now Izzy Morgan has it on the left wing for Davidson. She's looking for an option, and she gets it out for Millie Pryor. Pryor sends it across to the left wing for Izzy Morgan again. Now it's down to the low block. It's poked away by Taylor Donaldson. Ball is still loose. Rose Nelson diving for it, but it'll go out of bounds off of Nelson, and it will stay with the Davidson Wildcats.
And you can always count on Rose Nelson to make those hustle plays, trying to keep a ball in bounds for her teammates. She really is the glue of this team and also a vocal leader in the locker room.
Rose Nelson, the 6'1" junior out of Wallacea, Australia, attended St. Paul's High School. Getting about 16.8 minutes per game this year. As the inbound comes for Izzy Morgan. Near the interlocking DC logo at center court. It's Taya Davis guarding, and there's going to be a foul called, I believe, against Taya Davis, trying to keep up and move around the screen. Just a little too much contact there off the ball.
Yeah, and you got to watch out for that and be disciplined on the defensive end. Make sure not to rack up those fouls.
Two Fordham Rams guarding Izzy Morgan at the top of the key, and it's tipped away, but Davidson regains possession. It's a frantic look for an open shot, and they finally get one. This time it's Thomasine at Anupe from three, and she drills it. 9-3 Davidson, 6:05 to go in the first. There's a full court press now from the Davidson Wildcats. Shea Harris will attempt to break it for the Rams, and she does as she brings the ball up. Dribble handoff for Taylor Donaldson is broken up by Mallory Haynes. The ball rolls all the way down to the other end of the court, and they call the backcourt violation against the Fordham Rams for that loose ball. So clearly, after the poke by Mallory Haynes, the ball rolls off of Taylor Donaldson, goes back, and of course, if it rolls out of bounds, it's off of her. She has to pick it up, but it is a backcourt violation, and Davidson will have the ball into the basket. Inbounded for Charlize Dunn. Ball gets away from Dunn, but it's picked up by Donovan. She goes into the paint for Thomasine Adenupe. She goes up with the floater. That's no good. The little hook, and Taya Davis has the rebound. Taya Davis moving quickly, trying to push the pace here. Now slows it down. Drives right to left, and now moves it outside for Morwa. She moves into the paint, finds Shea Harris up top. Harris pulls for three from the top of the key, and it's good. No, it's a two, called on the floor by the sideline referee. So a two for Shea Harris there, 9-5 Davidson.
You can always count on her to make that quick step back from the mid-range. She's definitely a viable scoring option for this squad.
Kira Brundunks gets her first touch, and now it's up to Katie Donovan for three from the top of the arc, and it's good. Katie Donovan drills a three, and it's raining three-pointers for the Wildcats right now. 12-5 Davidson, ticking just under 5 minutes here in the first quarter.
Well, I told you got to stop the bleeding on the perimeter, provide that pressure, or it's going to be a long day for Fordham.
Harris pulls up with that go-to two-point jumper. That's no good. Mortimer with the rebound, but it's stripped away. Several players on the floor, including Emma Wilson-Saltos, going to battle over the rebound, and it'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards the Davidson Wildcats, and it's going to be our first media timeout of the game. Under 5 minutes, we're here. We got 4:41 to go in the first quarter. 12-5 Davidson And we'll be right back after this quick break with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
And welcome back inside of the John M. Belk Arena here on the campus of Davidson College in Davidson, North Carolina. Tucker Austin joined, of course, by Ben Oppenheimer. And the Fordham Rams currently trail the Davidson Wildcats by a score of 12-5. Played a little over 5 minutes here in the first quarter. And three-pointers have certainly been the story of this one to start. It's 4 for 6 as a team for Davidson. Meanwhile, Fordham with just the 2 attempts from Taylor Donaldson, one of the 2 going, but Fordham still finds themselves with just 5 points after the first 5 minutes.
Well, you have to admire Donaldson for taking initiative, trying to make those threes from, the right wing, not being afraid to pull up. But when you look at Davidson, I'm just in awe of marveling in terms of how cohesive, free-flowing, natural their offense is. It's beautiful basketball to watch in terms of how they can just easily kick it out to the open person, top of the key. We saw a play like that before this timeout where Davidson is just making it look easy out there and getting the shots they want. And Fordham being a little too aggressive, turning the ball over. They need to find a balance where they get the shots they want to get.
Taya Davis, the trigger for Fordham to restart play. She finds Taylor Donaldson on the left corner. She gets it to Wilson Saltos. She'll drive into the paint. Goes up with the layup with the right hand. It's no good. It's rebounded by Mallory Haynes, and they're going to call a foul here against Irene Morwa of the Fordham Rams. Rather than a jump ball, it's going to be a reach-in foul after the rebound.
And she's frustrated with herself on that one. Definitely unnecessary. You don't want to rack those up.
Long cross-court pass there gets to Mallory Haynes. It's still Haynes with it on the left wing, guarded by Wilson Saltos. Haynes gets it to Adenupe. Thomasine Adenupe gets it to Mallory Haynes again. 7 seconds on the shot clock as Katie Donovan tries to work around a screen. Taya Davis nearly gets her hand on the basketball. She tries to put up a shot at the shot clock, but it's blocked by Taya Davis, and there's going to be a shot clock violation against the Davidson Wildcats. So great defensive stand right there out of the timeout by the Fordham Rams.
That possession exemplified the qualities that have made this Fordham basketball team competitive, is that stifling defense, forcing the turnovers. Fordham is so good at that. We talked with Coach Mitchell before the game. That's what she's looking to do is provide that pressure, and that's how they're going to get back in this one.
Taylor Donaldson moving left to right, now moves into the paint, goes up with the left hand, and a bit of a frantic shot, but it's no good. Never hit the rim, and it's rebounded by Izzy Morgan. Morgan gets it to Dunn. Charlize Dunn moves it all the way up the court, and there's going to be a foul off the ball called by the referee under the basket. It's going to be against Shea Harris. So another foul against the Fordham Rams. It's their third, I believe, early on in the first here. Still 12-5, the Davidson Wildcats lead. 3:36 to go in the first quarter. Inbound comes from Izzy Morgan out to Charlize Dunn. Now it's Katie Donovan on the left block, moves into the paint, goes up with the layup, but it's no good. Off the bottom of the rim, but there's a foul called on the shot. Emma Wilson Saltos picks up the shooting foul. And Katie Donovan will go to the free throw line for the first free throws of the afternoon.
And expect Davidson to take advantage of being able to get Fordham to draw those fouls as she makes her first there at the line. And, free throws are so important. Missed free throws can determine whether a game is won or lost. And, there's been some games where Fordham has struggled from the line, but Davidson overall this season has been solid, and expect them to take advantage of that throughout this one.
So 2 for 2 at the line goes Katie Donovan. Taya Davis has it for the Fordham Rams. Going the other way. Taya Davis finds Rose Nelson on the right wing. Now Rose Nelson moves into the paint. She tries to find Wilson Saltos with the over-the-head pass. Clapping in a bit of disappointment is Rose Nelson as the pass does not find its intended receiver. It's another turnover, and it's Davidson's ball once again.
I'm just seeing so many reckless passes and just, again, forcing it, not just in terms of shots, but also in terms of wild passes.
Working inside now is Izzy Morgan for Davidson. Her layup is no good. Rebound, Emma Wilson-Saltos. Full court press from Morgan, although a light one against Taya Davis as she moves across half court and gets over to the right wing. Now moving left to right, now right to left with a little crossover, but she outlets to Carissa Antoine. Now Anastasia Veljovic has it for the Rams on the left wing. She tries to get the pass inside to Emma Wilson-Saltos, but it's off the foot of Kira Brundunks. Kira Brundunks, the 5'11 freshman who's played in 29 games this year for the Davidson Wildcats out of Mol, Belgium, and Top Sports School Antwerpen. Inbound from Carissa Antoine to Amaya Ferguson now in the game for the Fordham Rams. Anastasia Veljovic has it on the right block. Strong move into the paint as she finds Emma Wilson-Saltos. She fires a pass, attempting to find Rose Nelson at the low block on the left side, but she wasn't there.
I don't know if she was hallucinating or if she saw a ghost, but there was nobody where she was throwing that pass to.
2:22 to go in the first quarter. Wildcats up 14-5 on the Rams. Fordham scoreless in the last 3 minutes, 1 for their last 7 from the floor. It is Kira Brundunks with a long cross-court pass to Charlize Dunn. She moves it inside to Pryor. Pryor finds Donovan under the basket, but Emma Wilson-Saltos gets her hands on the basketball and forces a jump ball, but it'll stay with Davidson.
And Fordham so far, defensively, I think they've been better than they have been offensively. That they've, definitely made Davidson work for it on a couple of possessions so far.
Ball is moved inside for Millie Pryor. 1 second on the shot clock, as Pryor's shot is up and short off the rim. Shea Harris with the rebound, and she brings it across half court. Her pass to Rose Nelson is immediately stolen by Charlize Dunn. It's a fast break for Charlize Dunn, and she's good with the layup. Nearly a foul there on Shea Harris, the trailer, but Charlize Dunn with the quick steal, transition, and bucket, and she gets another steal. And then draws the foul. Charlize Dunn with an incredible sequence of plays. She gets the steal and the transition bucket, and on the ensuing possession gets another steal and then draws the foul. Clearly Fordham trying to prevent another transition bucket, but things just went from bad to worse for the Fordham Rams there, Ben.
Yeah, Fordham just out of sorts right now, looking lost, especially on the offensive end, when they're not throwing it down to the basket to Mora for a missed layup. A lot of times they're throwing it to nobody at all, and they're turning it over a lot. There's no real momentum as Dunn makes her first at the line there, and you have to watch out for Dunn. I want to mention she's the leading scorer on this team, averages around 12 points per game, and makes both at the line, and she's also great on the defensive end. Again, so many players on this Davidson team, great on both sides of the ball for Fordham, really looking to retool right now.
Full court press still from Davidson, ticking under 1:30 to go here in the first quarter. Of course, the foul against Charlize Dunn came on the offensive side of the floor for the Fordham Rams, Davidson's defensive side, but the foul did put Davidson into the bonus here in the first quarter, so that is why she went to the line and made 2 free throws. Taylor Donaldson pulls for 2 from the left side of the paint. It's no good. Fight for the rebound goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Fordham Rams, 1:09 to go here in the first quarter. Fordham in desperate need of a bucket or two before the end of the quarter here if they want to keep this game from getting away too early. Taylor Donaldson, the trigger, fires it in for Irene Morwa near half court, and she brings it back up to the three-point line. Dribble handoff for Taylor Donaldson. She finds Rose Nelson. She backs into the paint on Katie Donovan. Now outlets to Taylor Donaldson, but the pass never gets to TD, and it goes out of bounds once again. So another errant pass for the Fordham Rams and another turnover, giving the ball back to the Wildcats with 58.1 on the clock in the first.
And Coach Mitchell is really frustrated right now. Rose Nelson just subbed out. So many passes that are just, you wonder about the decision-making behind them, and it's putting them in a hole right now.
Reverse layup by Katie Donovan does not go. Carissa Antoine on the defense. She finds Taya Davis after gathering the rebound. 36 seconds to go. 21 on the shot clock here in the first quarter. Taya Davis directing traffic for the Fordham Rams. Now drives the lane on the right side, goes up with the layup, but there's a foul. The layup is no good with the right hand, but there's a shooting foul. It's going to be against Candace Leonofa, and that sends Taya Davis to the line for Fordham's first free throws of the afternoon.
Well, credit to Taya Davis for taking initiative and not being reckless, but being smart in terms of driving to the basket, taking the contact, and making her first at the line here. And she is not only a great playmaker, but she has an ability to get inside the paint and score as well, can pick up a few steals. An integral part of this Fordham team as she made her second at the free throw line. She can do a lot of things pretty well.
Play begins once again as Izzy Morgan has it for Davidson, goes cross court for Kira Brundunks, and now she goes back to Izzy Morgan. 14 seconds to go, now 12, as the ball is moved inside. Target of the pass was Candace Leonofa, but it's tipped away by Carissa Antoine. 10.6 to go in the first quarter. Or excuse me, it's off Davidson, so it's actually Fordham's ball with 10.6 to go. Taya Davis has it. Shot clock is turned off. Taya Davis brings it across half court, 4 seconds. She pulls for three. It is no good. Missed the rim. Morwa has it now in the right corner. She tries to put up a three at the end of the quarter, but it's no good. So 2 air balls essentially, although Morwa didn't get it up in time. But no points for Fordham at the end of the quarter. But Taya Davis's 2 free throws did finally end that scoring drought. So 18-7 is the score that we have after 10 minutes of play. We'll go to the second quarter, but before that, we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Nick Guzman here.
And I'm James Burley.
We're the hosts of FUV FC, WFUV's very own soccer podcast.
Tune in weekly as we break down everything there is to know in the world of soccer.
From the Champions League to the international game to Major League Soccer, we'll have you covered all over the pitch of the beautiful game.
You won't want to miss it. With a rotating group of hosts and beat reporters, FUV FC is your source for all things soccer, football, or whatever you want to call it.
If it's about the beautiful game, we're cutting it up on FUV FC.
FUV FC is a production of WFUV Sports.
And we welcome you back inside of the John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina, right near to the
massive, I might say, Lake Norman. We had to drive across it to get to the hotel. It's kind of a weird experience driving over water when you're on a highway, especially on a bus when you can't really see the road. But that, of course, is besides the point. Tucker Austin joined by Ben Oppenheimer ahead of the start of the second quarter here between Fordham and Davidson. The season finale, the regular season finale, I should say, of course, the A10 Tournament. It's just around the corner. But we restart play with Carissa Antoine inbounding to Taya Davis. Wildcats lead the Rams 18-7. Taylor Donaldson has it for Fordham. Now she finds Taya Davis. Davis finds Donaldson on the left wing. Her three is good. Taylor Donaldson knocks one down and brings Fordham within 8. It's 18-10 Davidson.
And that's sorely needed right now. This Fordham offense has been dormant, and she's the one who's going to ignite it and bring it to life.
It's exactly how you start a quarter if you're the Fordham Rams, especially the way the first went. But Davidson moving the ball around. Izzy Morgan with the three from the left corner. Great ball movement by Davidson to get an open look for Morgan, and the answer is there. 21-10 Davidson, 9:12 to go in the second quarter. Taya Davis has it for the Rams. She finds Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson finds Davis again. Davis on the right wing now, and it's poked away by Charlize Dunn. It'll stay with the Fordham Rams.
I mean, even if it's staying with Fordham, Tucker, this offense looks listless with the exception of Taylor Donaldson. It's hard to win a game when you're pretty good on defense and non-existent on the offensive end.
Taya Davis tries to get the ball to Taylor Donaldson, but there's going to be a travel in transition. There's a bit to break down there. Taya Davis and Taylor Donaldson were trying to work out a dribble handoff, but Taya Davis at the top of the key mistook where Taylor Donaldson was going to go, misses her on the dribble handoff, and it goes to Izzy Morgan, but Morgan travels immediately on gathering the basketball, so Fordham retains possession there. A bit of a scary moment for the Rams, but Taylor Donaldson has it now on the left wing. Carissa Antoine in the left corner finds Taya Davis on the right wing. Taya Davis drives inside, goes up with the right hand, but it's no good, just a little strong. Rebounded by Izzy Morgan. Izzy Morgan pushing the pace, going the other way. A lot of contact, and now outlets for Charlize Dunn. Her three is long, rebounded by Antoine. And there's going to be a foul by Davidson. It's going to be on Millie Pryor. Millie Pryor and Katie Donovan were both mobbing Carissa Antoine under the basket immediately after she got the defensive rebound. And so a reach-in bails her out of that scenario. 8:12 to go in the second quarter. 21-10 is the lead for the Wildcats over the Rams. Taya Davis has it for Fordham at the top of the key. Dribble handoff for Maya Giles-Jones. And Jones moves into the paint, goes up with the right hand, and the layup is good. Maya Giles-Jones with a little work in the paint for Fordham, and it's 21-12 Davidson.
That's a nice play there, driving inside and getting the quick bucket for two.
Tipped away by Taylor Donaldson, and she's moving quickly. The steal and the transition, and the bucket is good, I believe. And there's a foul on the floor off the ball that is going to be after the shot, I think. I believe I saw the indication of a good bucket and then the foul call. So Fordham gets possession right back, 21-14. Taya Davis inbounds it off the back of Izzy Morgan and gets the reverse layup to go. What a play from Taya Davis. That's just straight basketball brain from Taya Davis. What a play. And then she gets the steal on the other end. Taya Davis doing it all for the Fordham Rams right now. She drives, tries to move it to Mortimer, but it gets away. Sloppy in transition there with the Rams, and now Davidson recollects themselves. Charlize Dunn finds Mallory Haynes on the left wing. Her three is no good. Off the left iron, rebounded by Maya Giles-Jones. She brings it across half court. Now dribble handoff for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson gets it to Davis, who will set up the offense for Fordham. Blistering pace, and now Mortimer wide open in the right corner. She drills the three. A wide open look for Mortimer. Davidson seems to have forgotten about her. And in a crazy turn of events, we have a 2-point basketball game, 21-19 with 6:55 to go in the second.
This offense has come to life, Tucker, thanks to electric plays that we saw from Taya Davis, that was just wizardry right there, just off the back from the inbound, and then the layup for two inside the paint. Just incredibly high IQ basketball and nifty, and a good way to get this team some momentum where now they're only within two. And what's interesting, Tucker, is that even though Davidson has been raining down the threes, they've been 5 for 10 from beyond the arc, and that's where they've been punishing Fordham. Fordham is 3 for 5 from three, where it's really been a struggle for both teams, actually. And it's quite interesting, is even though Davidson's in the lead with two right now, Davidson is shooting worse from the field than Fordham. They're shooting 35%, 6 for 17 from the field. Fordham, 7 for 16 from the field, 43%. And Fordham out-rebounding Davidson as well, so 14-6 in terms of rebounding. Really what it is here that explains why they've been struggling up until a few minutes ago is the turnovers. Fordham has 9 turnovers already. Davidson's only got 4, and that's what's led to this sloppy play that we saw in the first and in the very beginning of the second here. And really, I think they've been playing more cohesive and taking care of the ball and careful not to throw a reckless pass out of bounds. A lot of those turnovers led to points on the other end, which is something that Fordham would usually do to opponents, especially at home, where they would take advantage of those turnovers, turn them into points in transition. That's what Davidson was doing, beating them at their own game in the first quarter. Now just about halfway through the second, Fordham coming to life on the offensive end, and on the defensive end, they've been good enough already. So to win a game, you have to not only be solid on the defensive end, but really have a decent game offensively as well. I know they say defense wins championships, but you have to score points to win games, to win championships, and it looks like Fordham is doing that right now with the run they've been on in the past 2 minutes or so.
And that horn that you just heard indicates the end of the timeout that was taken by head coach Gail Fulks of the Davidson Wildcats. She needed a minute to calm her group down a little bit and recollect themselves after the first true run of the game for the Fordham Rams. It's been a 9-0 run over the past 2.5 minutes that has Fordham right back in this game. And you mentioned that shooting efficiency, Fordham shooting better from the floor so far today than Davidson. That's really what's been keeping them in the game as play is restarted once again. Fordham bringing the full court press. It's going to be broken by Thomason Adenupe. She finds Katie Donovan. The drive by Donovan, and there's going to be a foul called, I believe, against Taylor Donaldson. She can't believe it. She put her arms straight up in the air, but I think she caught a piece of Donovan on the way by. The layup, of course, is no good, so Donovan will head back to the free throw line for the second time this afternoon. Donovan is a 76% shooter from the stripe in 2024-25, as the first one goes a little long off the back iron and no good.
And you could say Donovan is the second scoring option on this Davidson squad as she makes her second at the line there. She's averaging 9.8 points per game, shooting 43% from the field, and definitely an impact player on the offensive end.
Taya Davis working it across half court. Kira Brundunks giving her a look at the press, but nothing much. Mortua with an open look, thought about the three, but thinks better of it, and then tries to put the ball on the floor afterwards, but just barely takes a step. It's going to be a travel against the Rams and a turnover.
I'm telling you, it's these turnovers that are really hurting Fordham, keeping them from tying this game or even taking the lead, really allowing Davidson to get second opportunities to score off that turnover and just expand their lead.
It is Charlize Dunn. She moves it across to Adenupe. Thomasine Adenupe goes up with the layup. It's no good off the right iron. Carissa Antoine with the rebound. Fordham moves it to Taya Davis to work the offense. Screened by Taylor Donaldson, and Taya Davis has it on the right wing. Now moving right to left with the crossover. Gets it to Morua at the top of the key. Morua trying to get it to Taylor Donaldson, but has to settle for Taya Davis at the top of the key once again. She moves inside and trying to outlet the ball once again, goes to the floor, and it's going to be a travel there. It was nearly a jump ball, but unfortunately the movement to the ground is what caused the travel.
Two wasted possessions in a row on the offensive end due to turnovers that could have been avoided. Really have to avoid those unforced errors that are only hurting themselves.
Kira Brundunks with the pass inside for Katie Donovan. Her layup's no good. There's a scrum on the floor, and Irene Morwa's going to pick up her second foul of the game. It'll be Davidson's ball under the basket as the foul came on the floor. Both teams with 2 fouls here. 5:34 to go in the second quarter. It's a 3-point game. Davidson 22, Fordham 19. Giles Jones guards Charlize Dunn, and Dunn loses the basketball. It goes out of bounds. The Fordham bench erupts to the delight of Maya Giles Jones. A great defensive possession there for the Fordham Rams, but can they turn that into points on the offensive end now, Ben? Taya Davis has it at half court.
Exactly what I was going to say. We'll see what they come up with on this possession.
Maya Giles Jones looked like she wanted to get the dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson, but briefly picks the ball up, and it's going to be a carry against Maya Giles Jones. So another turnover by the Fordham Rams.
So we got our answer pretty quickly on that one.
Mallory Haynes finds Katie Donovan. Donovan goes into the corner for Kira Brundunks. Brundunks moves inside and tries to put the layup up, but I believe she tripped on Emma Wilson-Saltos in the paint. She went down pretty hard and looked like it wasn't very controlled either, although there wasn't major contact. But the foul is going to be against Wilson-Saltos and sends Kira Brundunks to the line for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, and she looks a little bit shaken up there, tiny bit of a limp after getting up from that hit.
Brundunks' first free throw is good. She's an 85% free throw shooter on the year, but that's with 0.9 free throws attempted per game, so not a huge sample size, but the percentage is still there, and she knocks down both at the line this time around. Brundunks still looks like she might be favoring that leg a little bit as Amaya Ferguson brings it across half court for the Fordham Rams. Emma Wilson-Saltos has it now on the right wing. She drives inside. The ball is tipped away from Wilson-Saltos. That was Thomasin Adenupe under the basket on the strip, but it's out of bounds off of Adenupe. Taylor Donaldson, the trigger for Fordham. Sends it all the way up top for Wilson-Saltos, who has to do a bit of an Odell to get that ball to come down. Taylor Donaldson gets the ball poked away by Izzy Morgan, but regains possession. Top of the key three. It's good for Taylor Donaldson, and she hits the Jalen Brunson.
Definitely feeling confident from beyond the arc, and she is willing this team to tie this game and take the lead.
Taylor Donaldson with the rebound off the missed three by Brundunks, and there's going to be a travel called against Amaya Ferguson. Another turnover by the Fordham Rams on the offensive end. Just moving like just a couple steps too quick, or a couple steps faster than their hands can go.
It just feels like one step forward, 2 steps back every time someone scores or you see a play that's really puts them ahead, then another turnover.
Izzy Morgan moves into the paint with a wide open look. The layup is good with the right hand. It's 26-22 Davidson. 4 minutes flat on the clock in the second quarter. Taylor Donaldson has it for the Rams. Moves into the right wing, near the corner, but now moves back to the top of the right wing. Her three is no good, off the right iron, and it's rebounded by Charlize Dunn. Now Dunn has it, and she finds Adenupe up top. Adenupe goes to the right wing for Izzy Morgan. Morgan fakes the three, drives, goes up with the left hand. It's no good, off the right iron and out. Rebounded by Morwa. Taylor Donaldson moves it up for Ferguson. Ferguson moves into the paint and now finds Morwa on the right wing. Now it's Camilla DePoole. Tries to get it to Morwa, but now outlets for Amaya Ferguson at the top of the key. Carissa Antoine sets a screen high. Ferguson drives, goes up with the left hand. It's long off the backboard. Carissa Antoine attempted to get the offensive board, but it goes off of her hands and out of bounds, so it'll be Davidson's ball. Still 26-22. Davidson has the lead. 3:15 to go here in the first half of play.
They were within 2, and then again, it's that reoccurring theme of the turnovers, just putting them back in that deficit, and they've already got 13 so far.
And it looks like a bit of an exchange there, deflected ball. It will be Davidson's ball under the basket. Right here to our left, Bridgette Mitchell's directing her defense, trying to prevent a score here to bring this game a little bit closer. Rose Nelson guarding Katie Donovan underneath, and Donovan, through the best defense that Rose Nelson could have put out there, Donovan gets the 2 to go. And what a play off the inbounds by Kira Brundunks. A similar play to Taya Davis's play under the basket on the other end. This time it goes the way of Davidson. Immediately after the inbound, Kira Brundunks fires the ball off of Taylor Donaldson and it rolls out of bounds. So the Wildcats get a 2 and then buy a free possession. Izzy Morgan has it, and she gets it to Katie Donovan. Nearly gets away from Brundunks, and she gets it to Charlize Dunn in the corner. Dunn looking for an option and gets it to Donovan. Donovan guarded by DePool. The spin move by Katie Donovan, and the layup is no good. Rebounded by Brundunks, but the loose ball goes to Camilla DePool, and there's going to be a foul here against Izzy Morgan in transition. Camilla DePool going to the ground. So good job by Fordham to prevent the extra points there for the Davidson Wildcats. It's still a 6-point game. Fordham still very much in this one after that run at the start of the second quarter. 2:29 to go in the quarter.
Absolutely, but you have to show discipline and focus on the offensive end. So many of these possessions for Fordham right after a solid defensive effort just are completely wasted by a wild pass or a drive to the basket that leaves them almost falling and throwing it out of bounds, and you really just have to be as productive as possible when you have possession.
Donaldson moves it inside for Morwa, and she goes up off the glass with the left hand in that English that she's become known for here at Fordham. It's a good 2 for Morwa, and 28-24 is the score now. Wildcats have the lead. Millie Pryor directs traffic for Davidson. Cross-court pass for Katie Donovan. Goes inside to Pryor. Now a wide-open look for Brundunks is long off the right iron. Fight for the rebound, and Charlize Dunn gets her hands on it, but it's still loose here as Rose Nelson finally gets her hands on it. And it's going to be a foul against Davidson, against Charlize Dunn under the basket, so that fight for the rebound resulting in a Wildcat foul. 4 fouls for Davidson, 3 fouls for the Rams in the quarter, 1:46 to go. Rose Nelson inbounds to Taya Davis to get things rolling for the Rams. Davis accelerating and now stops at the 3-point line. She finds Camilla DePool on the right wing. Her 3 is no good, a little long, rebounded by Dunn. Charlize Dunn moves it across half court, now gets it to Millie Pryor. Swinging around are the Davidson Wildcats. Dribble handoff for Katie Donovan, top of the key, and there's going to be a foul against Taya Davis there. A little elbow, reminiscent of a hand check of old. Taya Davis wants an explanation. She's pleading her case a little bit to the referee here.
Yes.
But just got to keep those elbows nice and close to the side, or as close as you can, while still trying to do the things that Taya Davis does, as in steals and intercepted passes. But here comes Izzy Morgan on the drive off the inbound. Her layup's no good. It's rebounded by Millie Pryor, and her putback is good. 30-24 Davidson, 1:04 to go in the second quarter. Camilla DePool moves it across half court for the Rams. DePool looking for options as we tick under a minute. DePool moves inside, tries to get it to Rose Nelson. She does collect the basketball, starts to back into the paint, goes up with the right hand. It's no good. Off the glass, then the rim. Rebounded by Brundunks. And now Izzy Morgan has it for Davidson.
That was not a productive use of that play on the previous possession for Fordham.
Pulls for 3 to Charlize Dunn. It's no good. A little long, an air ball. The rebound goes to Katie Donovan, and she goes up for the layup, but she's fouled as she goes, so no good on that layup, but Katie Donovan will shoot 2 more free throws, 32.4
left in the first half. 30-24, Davidson has the lead.
And Donovan from Queensland, Australia, as she misses her first there.
Katie Donovan leads the team in minutes per game this year. She's getting a little over 30 minutes per game, so plenty of playing time for her as she ironically takes a seat. Rose Nelson has it for the Rams under the basket. 2 seconds separating shot and game clock. Just 26 seconds to go in the second quarter. Taylor Donaldson stops just past half court, looking to drain the clock as much as she can before the last shot of the half. Maya Giles-Jones has it now. She dribbles into the right corner, guarded by Izzy Morgan. She finds Taylor Donaldson. Mordwa sets the screen up high. Now the pass to Mordwa, and the layup is good. The little hook shot from Mordwa off the glass, and there's 3 seconds to go. Charlize Dunn pulls from way downtown, but it's no good as the buzzer sounds. So a nice play there by the Fordham Rams to get a little bucket before halftime. 31-26 is the score at the half. And Ben, we've been talking about the turnovers, but it's not even just turnovers. It's the unforced errors that turn into turnovers that have really been hurting the Fordham Rams in this game.
Yeah, they've really been putting themselves in a hole here, but being that as it may, they're only down 5 points, 31-26, and honestly, Tucker, they could be tied with Davidson right now. They could be in the lead if it weren't for those unforced errors, those turnovers, not making the best use of every possession they have on the offensive end. They really need to show some focus in terms of getting to the basket, taking a smart shot and making it and doing the best they can to get those productive shots. But what's interesting is when you look at the statistics here, I noted this earlier, Fordham shooting 43% from the field. They're shooting better than Davidson is. Davidson's shooting 31% from the field, yet they have a 5-point lead, 31-26. Then when you look at the three-pointers, Davidson originally was shooting better from beyond the arc than Fordham was. Davidson shooting 35%, Fordham shooting 50% from beyond the arc. But the reason is, again, that this game is not in control of the Rams right now is because Fordham has 14 turnovers and Davidson has 7. And then when you look at everything that goes along with that, the fouls, Fordham's got 9, Davidson's got 6. A lot of unnecessary moments where they could have capitalized and made this game a 2-point game or a tie game, and instead they don't make use of the chances that were given to them. And Davidson on the other end, goes to the line, turns that foul into 2 made free throws, and then putting them up more. So really Fordham, they have to keep the same intensity on the defensive end, but then be disciplined and really up their game on the offensive end. So defensive end has been solid, but offensively they really need to show some cohesion, some more moving the ball around, less ISO. Taylor Donaldson's been great so far, but you can't rely on 1 or 2 players. It has to be a team effort offensively. So defensively, they don't need to change that much, but offensively really need to retool and avoid those unforced errors, which have been critical in why Davidson has this 5-point lead right now.
And we will see if the Fordham Rams can make those adjustments going into the second half, but we will step away for the halftime break. We'll send you to our halftime content. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the special Radio Row edition of One on One. We have yet again another guest here, and it's former Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty, and also him and I, brothers in high school. That's right. We went to the same high school, Vir Fidelis, St. Joe's Regional High School, really big-time stuff. First off, Jason, how's everything going, man?
I was going good. I was a lot of years before you in high school, so
the brotherhood stands.
A lot older, but yes, it definitely still stands. So now I'm doing good. Happy to be out here in New Orleans.
So one of the things I want to start off with, since we're here in New Orleans, we're live from Super Bowl 59 here at Radio Row. Evan and I were talking earlier on one of our segments about, how big this game truly is, the way that this city just completely flips upside down, the ads everywhere. It almost just feels like they just changed the entire appearance of the city just for one game. And everyone knows the significance of the Super Bowl. Everyone throws their parties, they're screaming at the TV. As a player and having played in a Super Bowl, we were talking about it. It seems like a lot of these guys really do just view it as another football game.
Oh.
Is it true? Like, is it a facade that they're putting on? Are you really like more nervous for a Super Bowl? How do you manage like the emotions and the anticipation of playing in a Super Bowl?
No, I don't think you're more nervous. It's not just another game, and it's not because of everything that goes into it. It's a 2-week preparation that leads up to this game. When you get to this game, it's the biggest game of your entire life, but it's everything that surrounds it. You just mentioned it. We're sitting here at Radio Row. We're in a conference room at a convention center, and there's booths set up, and you guys are here all damn day hoping somebody walks by. That doesn't happen for just any game.
Right.
So you look at it for these guys, there's opening night on Monday when they first get here, and then every day leading up to the game, they're doing 30-minute media sessions that you never do for a regular season game. So I think there is so much buildup, and there's so many distractions for players. There's tickets to the games, there's hotel rooms, there's things that you typically don't have to deal with on a week-to-week basis that makes this such a bigger game. But I do think once Sunday hits, once you show up to the game and you're out there and you're warming up in your T-shirt and your shorts and pregame and all of that, and you're on the turf and you're on the grass, like that's when it starts to feel like it's just football again. And yeah, there's probably a little bit more nerves because you know what's at stake.
Right.
And that's the same way throughout the playoffs. But there's no better feeling. I can remember going out for pregame, walking with my brother, and just thinking about like, damn, we were 10, 11 years old dreaming about an opportunity to play together in the NFL. And I don't even know if we dreamed as far as making it to the Super Bowl, but there we were.
So you mentioned your brother, Devin. I think it's so cool. You guys went pretty much every step of the way with each other in terms of your football career, starting, when you were younger, then at St. Joe's, and then at Rutgers, and then you both played on the Patriots together. Just walk us through that experience of really going through your football career. I know you had a few different stops with other teams, but you played at every single level with your brother, Devin. What did that mean to you? And then how did you guys push each other to make each other the best possible football players you could be?
Man, it meant so much. And I'll start the ladder of that. You talk about us pushing each other. So when we were in high school at St. Joe's, we played basketball as well. And we'd be in the middle of a timeout, and our head coach would have to tell us to shut up because me and him would be bickering back and forth because he didn't think I was playing good enough defense, or I thought he should have made a shot. We had such high expectations for each other. I remember being at Rutgers and us being nose to nose in a summer workout because we thought the other one was dogging it. And that was kind of how we pushed one another and held each other to a high standard. So to be able to do it at every level, and I think what was special about the NFL is we didn't come in together. I get drafted at the end of the 6th round in 2009. He comes out as a first rounder a year later in 2010. And then I'm 9 years on my own in my career where I'm a captain in Tennessee. I've switched teams in Cleveland, became a leader on that team, had a good year. We sucked as a team. And then for him, he gets to New England. He's a captain in his 2nd year. He's winning Super Bowl. So we were able to have our own individual success at the highest level and then come together. So it was so much fun. And our first year in New England, you win a Super Bowl. But the moments in the meeting rooms and in the locker rooms of still challenging each other, holding each other to that high standard and raising the bar even to guys around us, because I have my way of doing things that I believe in that helped me get to my 10th year. And then he obviously had his ways that were the New England ways that no one could argue against the success they were having. So we would always have differentiating points and go back and forth. But I think ultimately we were able to raise the level of play for one another.
Now, the night that you and your brother won the Super Bowl with the Patriots, I know for a fact that a younger me was screaming at the TV, enjoy the whole night. I am a lifelong Patriots fan. So I do have to ask you this question. When you look at the New England Patriots throughout the entire decade, really throughout the course of 2 decades, it was always they were the team to beat. And it wasn't just, they may not even be the best team in the league that season, but they were the team to beat. Always star-studded, Hall of Famers left and right. when you look at just back on your time with the Patriots, so many notable figures from the last 2 decades of football. What are your relationships like still with like members of that team that you were on?
You don't talk to guys as much as when you're playing.
Right.
Deron Harmon, I'm still really close with. Kyle Van Noy, still talk to all the time. And then when you see guys, me and Deb were at an event yesterday. We ran into James White's cousin.
That's awesome.
And
oh, wow.
You meet different people. And whenever I see Sweet Feet when I'm in New England, and Pat Chung I talk to every now and then, Ninkovich, a lot of different guys that you don't see all the time. But this past year, still working with the Patriots. Brian Hoyer was at his house. So there's so many different guys that you always keep in touch with. When me and Deb were doing our podcast, we had Big Vince Wolfwork on.
Love
there.
it.
So
love it.
All of those different guys. Slater's a guy I talk to all the time. One of the best human beings I've ever been around. So
phenomenal special teams, man. We love Slater.
Yes, those relationships you build in a locker room. A lot of times, once guys separate, you don't talk as often. But as soon as you get together, it's like you haven't missed a beat. I was in a hotel lobby today, sitting down talking with Derrick Henry and Delaney Walker, 2 guys I played with in Tennessee, awesome. And we're just laughing, having a good time. So you miss the moments you had in that locker room, but whenever you get back together with guys, you just pick up where you left off.
Now, one of your coaches, he's back in the game, and that's Coach Bill Belichick, but in college now. And I just want to get your thoughts on that move specifically. Obviously, Bill, very notable, one of the best NFL head coaches there has ever been, but now he's taking a little bit of a different direction. What do you think it's going to be like for Coach Belichick to coach in college? What is his demeanor going to have an impact on in terms of these players that he's going to coach?
Yeah, I think Bill's going to be himself. I don't think we're going to see this drastic change and this smiley guy that's just cheerful all the time. I think what he brings to the college game, obviously you talked about the success he's had in the league, but I think is the how. He can show and teach a guy how to get to where he wants to get. I think the unique thing for him is, all right, how do you convey this message to these guys when I think he'll make a killing in the transfer portal of getting guys that for whatever reason haven't panned out at whatever school they're at, and he'll be able to watch film and evaluate and explain to a guy what it is you need to get to the next level. When I first saw the news, I was like, man, what the hell is Bill thinking? He's going to go back to college. But I think Bill is a football guy. I saw him last year and said to him, like, dude, you're killing it in the media. Like, you've become a media darling after you told us to hate the media while I was one of your players. And he's like, I was like, how are you enjoying it? Like, that's all right. And I think that told me, like, somehow he was going to find a way to get back into coaching and just being around ball every single day. I think that's what Carolina gave him. He didn't wait around to see if an NFL team was going to give him a shot. He had an opportunity there. Steve Belichick, his son's going to be his defensive coordinator. I'm assuming at some point Brian Belichick is going to go as well. So having your boys there with you, coaching and doing what you love, I think he's excited for the challenge of a lot of people are wondering, can he actually do it in college? I think that probably fires him up.
Do you think instead of we're on to Cincinnati, it'll be like we're on to Virginia Tech, we're on to Boston College?
Oh, 100%. And the crazy thing about Bill, he'll say those things and he'll know exactly what he's doing. Like, it won't, like, he'll have planned to say it because he knows he's going to get a reaction from everybody.
One last question that I have for you, because there's so many comparisons drawn, I guess, very recently, and rightfully so. The Chiefs are going for a three-peat, and their 4th ring in the last 5 years. So obviously the comparisons are getting drawn to the New England Patriots, which you got to be a part of that dynasty. Is there anything about this current Chiefs, dominance over these last 4 or 5 years? Is there anything that you've seen in their play style or in Andy Reid's coaching or in any of their culture that you think is very similar or at all similar to like what was going on during the Patriots dynasty, or something that is so conducive to just such repeated success like that?
I think the main thing Belichick's saying used to be every day, he would tell us, you can't win until you keep from losing. And that was just basically, don't go out there and just blow the game. We watched it all the time. When you're watching the game on Sunday and it's less than 2 minutes left and you're wondering why the head coach isn't calling a timeout. And the next thing you know, they run out of time. The Chiefs and the Patriots, you're going to have to walk in and beat them. They aren't going to lose the game. I think aside from that is the ability of both franchises to adapt or adjust. You look at it when Brady was there, when they won their first 3 Super Bowls, it was a young Brady built off defense. When they won the next 3, as Brady kind of continued to grow, it was the Brady show. And then you look at the Chiefs. They had Tyreek Hill. You lose Tyreek Hill, and then you win last year during a season where I remember they lose on Christmas to the Raiders. And it was like, this Chiefs team is cooked. Like, there's no way they're going back. And Spags has their defense playing at an incredible level. And even this year, throughout the entire season, they're winning game after game. And we're just waiting for it to collapse. And they continue to find a way to win. So I think that kind of ability to withstand whatever pressure is out there to come up victorious is similar with both franchises.
Well, Jason, I got one more question for you as well. Another question regarding the college landscape of things, and specifically what's going on with Rutgers. Definitely making improvements each and every year under Greg Schiano. Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco, a product of Rutgers. Awesome running back, came from New Jersey. Got to love it. But I just want to get your thoughts on the direction that Coach Schiano has this Scarlet Knights program going.
Yeah, I love it. Schiano's my guy. He recruited me. I played there for him for 4 years. Fired up for the direction we're going. We just got to win some of those close games. We lost a tough one to Illinois. We lost in the bowl game to Kansas State.
The bowl game was hard. I was watching that.
Games that we got to win, but Schiano does it the right way. He challenges those guys to not only be good football players, but good people as well. A lot of who I've become not only on the football field throughout my career, but as a person, as a father, as a husband. There were some sayings that Schiano used to say when I was 18, 19 that I absolutely hated. And they're things that I'm saying to my kids now. So with him being back, I'm hoping that we continue to raise the level.
Well, Jason McCourty, thank you for joining us, man. It was really a great time. We will have a little bit more one-on-one right after this short break. Once again, though, Jason, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you for taking the time.
We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the John M. Belk Arena here in Davidson, North Carolina, on the campus of Davidson College, of course. Tucker Austin joined by Ben Oppenheimer here as we are just about ready to get started for the second half of play between the Davidson Wildcats and the Fordham Rams. Davidson leads 31-26, and we talked a little bit about it before going to our break at halftime that Fordham needs to clean up the unforced errors a little bit because this game is certainly not out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. We've got a full 20 minutes to play here in just a 5-point deficit.
Yeah, it's absolutely within their grasp. And for Fordham right now, Taylor Donaldson leading all scorers with 11 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. She's been excellent, and you've got some other contributions from other players as well, but ISO is not going to do it. It's got to be a team-centered offense, moving the ball around, and once again, avoiding those turnovers.
And the first shot of the half for Davidson is a very long 3 from the hand of Mallory Haynes. It's short off the iron, and it's rebounded by the Fordham Rams. So Fordham with a chance to shrink the lead immediately at the start of the half. Taya Davis has it on the left wing. Fordham in their usual home whites, but wearing white on the road, as Davidson is in their home blacks with a little pink accent. A miss there from Carissa Antoine is rebounded by Davidson, and they come the other way. It is Mallory Haynes in the left corner. Now she finds Izzy Morgan up top. Izzy Morgan calls for a screen. It's a false screen. Morgan finds Donovan. Now back to Morgan. Izzy Morgan working on Taya Davis. Looking for an outlet. Now goes up with the left hand, but there's going to be a travel against Izzy Morgan. She moved that pivot foot before going up with the shot, so a forced turnover by the Fordham Rams there. Fordham, of course, doing that at a national level this season, forcing just around 19 turnovers for their opponents per game. That ranks in the top 70 in the nation. Taya Davis has it on the left wing. Now going left to right, goes up with the floater with the right hand. It's long over the rim, rebounded by Charlize Dunn.
That was a wild layup, just completely not sure what was going through her head on that one. Maybe could use some better shot selection, and again, not being overly aggressive, but taking the time to find the right shot that'll be the most efficient for your team.
So after a quick a quick missed 3, I should say, from Mallory Haynes, Fordham has it once again, and Taylor Donaldson toilet bowls home the short 2-point jumper And it is a 3-point game once again, 31-28. Wildcats with the lead, ticking just under 8 minutes in the third quarter.
I've never heard that before. Toilet bowls the shot. Very, very witty, Tucker.
Donovan has it, and it's poked away by Taya Davis. Now Fordham coming in transition. Taya Davis drives all the way into the lane, but it's blocked by Katie Donovan. The size advantage proving to work in Katie Donovan's favor there. Of course, Taya Davis standing at 5'7". Meanwhile, Katie Donovan 5'11", so a 4-inch advantage there, giving her the block shot.
Definitely a mismatch there, but credit to Taya Davis for always maintaining that fearlessness and driving to the basket, trying to, if not making the shot, getting a foul and maybe shooting 2 at the line.
Fordham keeps the basketball. Taylor Donaldson drives into the lane and goes up with her left hand, but it's no good. Rebounded by Donovan. So 2 close looks there for the Rams, but no dice as they find another pass to Mallory Haynes wide open in the corner, but she doesn't take it. She moves it inside for Thomasine Adenupe. She goes left to right through the paint and goes up with the right hand over Wilson Saltos for the 2. 33-28 Davidson.
And that was definitely a bit of a mismatch as well. Something to watch out for is taller players taking advantage of that size difference and going inside, getting the easy bucket in the paint.
Shea Harris moves it inside for Wilson Saltos. It's going to be a foul against Izzy Morgan of Davidson as she got caught up in the passing lane there. Looked like an almost inadvertent foul, or just a foul of circumstance of her happening to stand there. But Taylor Donaldson works it in for Morwa on the inbound. Morwa fakes the handoff to Donaldson, now backs down, and there's going to be a 3-second violation against Morwa as she camped out right on the A10 logo at the top of the paint and then started to back down after faking the handoff, and that was 3 seconds. So turnover there for the Fordham Rams. 5-point deficit. 6:45 to go in the third quarter. Izzy Morgan just inside the 3-point line on the left wing. Gets it to Charlize Dunn. Charlize Dunn tries to get it to Morgan again. It was tipped by Morwa, but Morgan regained possession. The shot attempt is no good, and Davis now has it for Fordham in transition. Dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson. Now Taya Davis calming things down. Calling out the play. Bridgette Mitchell directing traffic as well. Dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson. Top of the key guarded by Donovan. Taya Davis on the left wing finds Morwa on the left block. Now she finds Emma Wilson Saltos. Saltos puts it on the floor, goes to the right block, up with the right hand, and the layup is good. A nice move there by Wilson Saltos brings Fordham back within 3.
And that was a nice play, being patient with it, passing it around, and then right back to Wilson Saltos in the paint for the layup muscled inside.
Izzy Morgan goes cross-court, or attempts a cross-court pass to Mallory Haynes again in that left corner, but it's tipped away there by Shea Harris. Reaching up full extension into the air to tip that ball out of bounds and disrupt the Wildcat offense.
Yeah, definitely a long wingspan there.
Charlize Dunn moves it to Donovan, who tries to get it into the corner. It's a wide open look from the right corner for Mallory Haynes. She puts her hands up as if she has no idea what just happened. I think she just banked that in from the corner. So one of the most unorthodox banked threes I think I've ever seen, coming from the dead right corner from Mallory Haynes, gives the Wildcats a 6-point lead, 36-30, 5:20 to go in the third. Shea Harris sends it down low for Wilson Salto. She loses possession, but Taylor Donaldson is there to pick it up. She finds Shea Harris wide open on the left corner, but it's no good, a little short off the front iron. Haynes with the rebound, and now a long pass down from Charlize Dunn. The intended target was Katie Donovan under the basket, but it goes out of bounds. Unforced error by Davidson.
And it seems they're almost mimicking Fordham in that aspect on some possessions.
And it seems like the referee has stopped play for something on the other side of the court. It's a little tougher to tell as we're not on the normal side of the court that we're on. We normally sit on the same side as the benches, but this time on the opposite side.
Yes.
This play restarts once again. We're now ticking under 5 minutes. Taya Davis has it for the Fordham Rams, moving right to left in front of us. Emma Wilson-Saltos has it now, and now finds Taya Davis once again. Davis looking for an option. And moving into the paint now. She finds Wilson-Saltos with the feed as she causes two Davidson players to fall into each other. Taya Davis with the nifty play to draw both defenders under the basket, and it looks like there may have been some heavy contact under the basket.
She's shaken up there. She's got her hands in her face.
That's Kira Brundunks under the basket. She came together with Thomasin Adenupe, both of them converging on Taya Davis under the basket before she got the bounce pass off to Wilson-Saltos.
And she's getting some medical attention now.
Yeah, still down on the floor on the court.
We hope she's all right.
And as we await the result there, actually, you know what, we will stay right here. It's under 5 minutes. The media timeout is coming soon, but seems like a bit of a different scenario here as Brundunk's still down, but sitting up on the floor. It should be mentioned. Maybe a bloody nose, perhaps a broken nose, if it was solid enough.
She really looked like
she did not look happy.
Yeah, she got hit in the face.
The two of them came down on top of each other under the basket. It sort of seemed like neither of them were really aware of where the other one was, and they were both just trying to crash on Taya Davis. They left Wilson-Saltos wide open as Brundunk said. It looks like maybe she took a shot to the teeth as she's
walking off the court now.
Yeah, she's being helped off the court there by one of the assistant coaches for Davidson. I believe that's James Jansen. And she is going to hit the locker room, it looks like, as the Davidson faithful give her a little hand off the court, and she goes down into the tunnel. So Kira Brundunks goes into the tunnel after contact with her own teammate, Thomasine Adenupe, attempting to defend Taya Davis. They crashed into each other under the basket. It left Wilson-Saltos wide open for the two. 36-32 is the Wildcats' lead, 4:37 to go. We're going to step away and take a quick break for the media timeout here, under 5 minutes, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to the special.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
And welcome back after the media timeout. Play underway here just after the inbound. It's Izzy Morgan with it on the right wing. Davidson moving a little quickly as Morgan drives inside. She's blocked by Rose Nelson. Ball goes out of bounds. It looks like it's going to be off of Nelson, but an emphatic block there by Rose Nelson on Izzy Morgan moving into the paint.
Showing why she's such a great defensive presence in the paint. And like I said, she's the glue of this team. Can get a shot in the paint, but can also block one in the paint.
Rose Nelson, the trigger for the Rams, now under the basket as the full court press from Davidson is broken by Shea Harris. She finds Taya Davis, who will set up the offense now. 4:05 to go in the third quarter as Taya Davis finds Taylor Donaldson on the left wing. She moves into the paint, now finds Rose Nelson up top. She'll drive inside, but there's going to be a travel. Rose Nelson trying to stop herself just inside the paint. She'll take a seat. Morwa comes back on for the Rams. Inbounded by Donovan to Izzy Morgan, who moves across half court. She finds Donovan again, top of the key, guarded by Taylor Donaldson. She finds Adenupe, moves to the right block. Now inside with the good footwork, but the layup is no good with the left hand. Wilson-Saltos with the rebound. Taya Davis has it. She finds Shea Harris. No hesitation, and she's fouled on the three-point attempt, so Shea Harris will go to the line for 3 free throws here with a 4-point deficit.
Really poor decision-making, the foul from beyond the arc. That's always in college basketball and in basketball in general. To foul from 3 is the taboo you never want to do, as Shea Harris makes her first at the line there. And we know that she has that ability to just pull up from anywhere on the floor and make a mid-range knock down a 3. She knocks down her second free throw there, and this is once again putting Fordham within striking distance. She misses the third, though, so only down 2.
Still 2 of 3 on the free throws, though, for Shea Harris. 36-34 is the lead now for Davidson, so Fordham still keeping it close. 3:25 to go in the third quarter. Adenupe tries to move to the right block, but it's stolen away by Shea Harris. Harris is guarded by Morgan on the left wing. Harris finds Morwa. Morwa dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson on the right wing moves it inside for Morwa now. Morwa backing down into the paint, moving through a double team, goes up with the English, but it's no good off the glass.
I think she was looking for a foul on that one.
She likely was, and now it's Donovan in the left wing for 3, and it's good. Katie Donovan with the 3 to put the Wildcats back up 5. 2:44 to go in the third. Taya Davis brings it up for the Rams. She finds Shea Harris. Harris moving around to Salto's screen. Now it's Davis on the left wing. Wilson Saltos has it now near the left block, converging our 2 defenders, and there's a foul on the floor against Mallory Haynes. She has her hand over her mouth. She really can't believe that there was a foul called there as Wilson Saltos went to the ground. Although Wilson Saltos will now take a seat after going down kind of hard. Shea Harris, the trigger for Fordham, finds Rose Nelson. Rose Nelson working on Charlize Dunn. Now it's Shea Harris. No hesitation for 2 from the free throw line, and it's good. Shea Harris with the jumper, 39-36 Davidson.
And she's definitely an instrumental part of this team's offensive potency, along with Taylor Donaldson. Shea Harris can certainly knock some down.
Izzy Morgan's look from 3 from the right wing is no good. Rebound gets to Mallory Haynes. And now Davidson with a reset shot clock. Tries to find an open look again, and it's Katie Donovan this time again. From the left corner, Katie Donovan knocks it down. And it's another 3, and there's going to be a foul here against the Fordham Rams. Quickly trying to inbound was Rose Nelson. Taya Davis trying to get open, makes contact with Izzy Morgan, and they call a charge against Taya Davis under the basket. So a quick 3 there for Davidson, and then immediately getting possession back. Another bought possession for Davidson.
Yes, and Davis certainly not happy with that error there, as she was talking to the ref, trying to plead her case, but
Katie Donovan is absolutely cooking right now. 2 corner 3s, and then the nice move on the pump fake and the footwork in the paint to get the 2. So essentially a 5-point play for Katie Donovan there. 44-36, the Wildcats have opened up the lead again, but Taylor Donaldson is right there for the answer. A 2 of her own from just beyond the free throw line. 44-38 Davidson. 1:15 to go in the third quarter. Taylor Donaldson guards Adenupe up top. Now it's Izzy Morgan on the right wing. Morgan finds Adenupe again. Adenupe is looking for an option, and she finds Charlize Dunn. Dunn, left wing. Little floating pass into Adenupe. Adenupe backing down Morwa. And they call a foul against Morwa. That is really egregious, in my opinion. Irene Morwa stood straight up against Adenupe, put her hands straight in the air. Adenupe backed into Morwa before shooting, and they call the foul on Morwa.
Yeah, Fordham just getting some really tough breaks, but opportunities for Davidson to expand their now 6-point lead. And I want to note that Donovan is usually the second scoring option on this team. She has totally taken control, as you mentioned, of this game, Tucker, as she misses her second there. Donovan, 17 points already.
A rebound there after the missed free throw. It's Donovan again from the left wing, and her three is no good. Rebounded by Antoine, but there's a foul on the floor. And they're calling it against Camilla DePool of the Fordham Rams. So Fordham really having a hard time getting out of their own defensive half of the court. They've spent the last minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes on this end of the floor now. As Donovan will inbound.
What I think is ironic is on the offensive end, that was what was holding them back in the first half. Now here in the second half, it is the defensive side of the ball that is giving them a huge amount of issues.
Taylor Donaldson doing her best to defend Katie Donovan, and her reverse layup is no good. Taylor Donaldson has it now for the Fordham Rams in transition. She pulls for a long two. It's no good. Rebounded by Thomason. Adanupe. Now Katie Donovan has it. Why not put the ball in the hot hand, as now it is across to Charlize Dunn. She's guarded by Taya Davis. Bit of a mismatch there. As Charlize Dunn finds Katie Donovan open in the left corner again, and the three is just short off the iron. It hit the iron twice. Loose ball, diving for it was Adanupe, but it's out of bounds on Davidson. 0.4 seconds to go on the clock here in the third quarter. So it's going to have to be a catch and shoot here if Fordham wants even a short look, and Taya Davis will just hold on to it as the buzzer sounds. So Fordham looking better on the offensive end than they were in the first half, but like you mentioned,
with asterisks at the end.
Yes, of course, and the defense not as clean as
it was in the first.
Yes, of course, and it's sort of the reason why that the Rams are still down, but I gotta say, this is still a 6-point basketball game against a team that's tied for third in the A10 right now. Davidson's 12-5 in A10 play, and Fordham is still right in there with the cream of the crop in the A10.
Absolutely. You have to give Fordham credit for staying in this one. It's been a competitive game throughout the duration, but to win games, you have to play well on both sides of the ball. And it almost seems like, as we just mentioned, Tucker, they're exchanging which side of the ball they're going to excel at. In the first half, it was on the defensive end. Now it's on the offensive end. They're making shots, but they're not executing on defense. They're committing way too many fouls, a lot of fouls that, again, were unforced, that we're talking about, that are really setting them back. There's still a big opportunity here for Fordham to have a great fourth quarter, really get back in this one and take control and possibly win. But to do that, they have to play well on both sides of the ball. No more of this exchange one for the other kind of thing. They have to be consistent on both sides. That's going to win them this game if they do win.
30 minutes gone, and we have seen good defense and good offense from the Fordham Rams, but we've yet to see those two combined. Yes. We'll see if they can do that in the final 10, but we'll take a quick break before the start of the fourth quarter. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
And welcome back to the John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina. Tucker Austin, joined by Ben Oppenheimer, and we are ready to roll. In the last 10 minutes of this one, the final 10 minutes of the regular season, barring overtime, for the Fordham Rams and for the Davidson Wildcats. It's 44-38. Davidson has the lead. Fordham has the basketball, though. Rose Nelson has it on the left wing. She's looking for an option. and now finds Taya Davis. Taya Davis goes to Mordwa on the left block. She's double teamed and the ball gets away, but it's going to be a foul against Mallory Haynes. So Fordham drawing an early foul here in the fourth quarter. I think it certainly bears mentioning the talk of foul trouble in the fourth quarter now, because free throws could mean everything down the stretch here. Taya Davis's inbound nearly gets away, but Taylor Donaldson retrieves it. Donaldson tries to get the ball to Mordwa, and there's another foul. This time it's against Izzy Morgan. Mordwa trying to get free of Morgan for the pass from Donaldson, goes to the floor, and they blow the whistle. So 2 quick fouls with less than 30 seconds played here in the fourth quarter on Davidson.
And the crowd obviously not happy with that. Some boos we're hearing in the background here as.
And a round of applause as Kira Brundunks checks back into this game, returning from the tunnel after taking a shot seemingly to the teeth from her own teammate, Thomasine Adenupe. So it's good to see her back out there. Taya Davis with it, 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Fordham Rams. Now it's Taylor Donaldson working through a double team. She puts the floater up from the free throw line, and it's good. Taylor Donaldson for 2, 44-40 Davidson.
That was a beautiful shot, showing just her talent in scoring quickly at ease.
Carissa Antoine a little disappointed in herself as she nearly got her hand on the basketball, but a little too much contact, and she's called for the reach. So an early foul in the first minute of the fourth quarter against Fordham, but still the advantage to the Rams with Davidson picking up those 2 on the previous possession. It's Brundunks to inbound. She finds Donovan. Katie Donovan drives into the lane and misses the layup with the right hand. It's rebounded by Mordwa. And now Taya Davis brings it across half court. She moves past the three-point line, now goes back up to the top of the key, moves the ball to Rose Nelson. Hand off to Taya Davis. As she moves it inside for Mordwa, it's tipped away. And Mordwa goes up, but she's fouled. It was Charlize Dunn who almost got her hand on the basketball. Mordwa goes up for the layup, is fouled. So a third foul here against Davidson in the quarter. Fordham rapidly approaching the bonus with plenty of time left on this clock. But this being a shooting foul sends Mordwa to the free throw line. The first from Mordwa is good. You expect as much with a 77% clip from the stripe this season. Although it's her field goal shooting that's really her bread and butter.
Yes.
Third in the Atlantic 10 with 55% from the floor as she knocks down the second of 2 from the stripe, and it's a 2-point basketball game. 44-42, Davidson has the lead. 8:30 to go in the fourth.
Now Fordham providing that full court press.
Love to see more of that. Put more pressure on Davidson as time winds down. Brundunks gets it to Dunn. Now inside for Adenupe, who gets the 2 to go. A high percentage look there for Davidson gives them the 4-point lead once again. 46-42. Taya Davis has it for the Rams. She moves down to the right block, nearly double teamed, now moving baseline, finds Rose Nelson on the left wing. Rose Nelson moving inside, and it's Kira Brundunks, of all people, taking the charge there, putting her body on the line when she's already done enough this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's already sacrificed enough, but you have to give credit where credit is due. You know, just taking one for the team, quite literally, and to their advantage, Davidson bringing it back up now, up 4.
You really have to admire the toughness from Brundunks to take a shot like that, come back, and then still be putting her body on the line. As there's another incident of contact above the three-point line. It was Charlize Dunn who went to the floor, and the foul is going to be against Taylor Donaldson. On the floor, of course, though, but as both teams now pull even in the foul count this quarter at 3. Brundunks moves right to left, now finds Katie Donovan in the left corner, guarded by Mordwa. The floating pass to Adenupe. Now out to the right wing for Brundunks. Brundunks finds Adenupe. Adenupe tries to go inside. Emma Wilson-Saltos was looking for the travel, but it's a push against Wilson-Saltos. The 4th foul of the quarter by the Fordham Rams as they overtake Davidson's foul total. Still on the floor, though.
Both teams just racking them up, and it's disrupting the flow of the game, and you wonder who is going to take advantage.
Charlize Dunn receives the inbound, and now it's Katie Donovan on the right block with the footwork, and it's going to be what thought it was blocked, but
looks like a foul.
A foul on the floor, or on the shot, I should say. Foul is called against Rose Nelson, who got a block against Katie Donovan earlier in this game, but this time it's a foul, and they send Katie Donovan back to the free throw line for Davidson. Meanwhile, Donovan, of course, leading the scoring for the Wildcats by a significant margin. Her 17 points, and now 18 as she makes the first. Although her percentage from the free throw line is under 50 in this game. Still doing it all with the shooting from the floor, and of course from deep. She's been lethal from 3 as she knocks down 1 of 2. 48-42, the Rams trail the Wildcats. 7:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Taya Davis finds Shea Harris. Shea Harris is on the right wing. She finds Mordua driving into the lane. It's good and 1. Irene Mordua with the layup on the drive. And she's going to go to the stripe for a 3-point play attempt.
She's got great strengths when driving inside in the paint, getting the foul and making the shot, putting them potentially back only within 2. There's been so many instances where Fordham gets within 2 and then they don't get much closer than that as she makes a second there. So the question is, can Fordham get a stop here, and then can they capitalize and score on the other end, potentially tie this game up?
Ticking just under 7 minutes, and it's a decent look there from the left wing for Mallory Haynes, but she misses again. And now Fordham will go the other way. Shea Harris on the right wing near the corner. She's calling for a Mordua screen, and she sets it. Harris swings it to Davis. Taya Davis sends it to Mordua. Mordua dribble, handoff to Harris. No hesitation on the 3, and she drills it. Shea Harris just tied this game at 48.
Ice cold-blooded, showing that clutch gene. The right wing 3, putting them tied 48 apiece.
And it's a timeout called by Gail Folks of Davidson. Fordham has come all the way back after spending most of this game in a deficit, in a hole for sure at times. They have brought it all the way back. 6:21 to go in the 4th quarter, and we're all knotted at 48, Ben.
Well, that was the question. I said right after Rose Nelson made that 3 on that, or excuse me, that 3-point play, making the foul shot, putting them within 2, I said, the question is, are they going to get a stop on the other end, and then coming back, will they knock down a big shot? And the answer was emphatically yes, in terms of stopping the 3 from Mallory on the other end, then coming down and hitting that clutch 3 on the right wing. What a turn of events here. And you wonder, can Fordham take the lead and make it a decisive lead and reverse what we've seen throughout this one and kind of seal the deal as we get closer and closer to the end of this one here in Davidson. But there's still a lot of time left, 6:21 to go, and a lot can happen in 6 minutes. That's like an eternity in college basketball. But right now, you look at Fordham in terms of who has the most scoring. It's Taylor Donaldson at 17 points, 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 7 from beyond the arc, 46% overall from the field. And she's been excellent, but it's also been the supporting players. It's been Shea Harris, who's got 9 points right now.
But Shea Harris has really emerged over these past few weeks down the stretch of the season.
Yeah.
When Fordham needs her most, Shea Harris steps up, and I absolutely love her jump shot.
Yeah.
When she's going to shoot, she knows exactly what she's doing. There is zero hesitation ever. The shot goes up, and a good percentage of the time, it's good.
The form is perfect, really great mechanics, and just such a keen ability to step into a shot and just drain it. And that's exactly what she did from the right wing. Once again, incredibly clutch shot. The question is, can they keep this up? Because throughout this game, we've seen so many instances of getting right there, and then it's like the Geico commercial. It takes it, swipes it away from them, and
you almost had it.
Yeah, almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that. So the question is, will they be quick enough to make those stops, and then on the other end, execute, knock down the shots that are good shots, and shots that they're expecting to make, a wide open three, step into a shot, or making one at the line. Anything counts, and now we're approaching crunch time here. It's time for Fordham to, as some people like to say, lock in.
Play back underway, and it's a quick three! Oh my goodness, Katie Donovan, with no thought whatsoever, knocks down the three immediately out of the timeout and gives the Wildcats a 3-point lead once again. Taya Davis brings it across half court, 51-48 Davidson, 5:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Shea Harris loses control of the basketball, and it gets away from her. Who else but Katie Donovan with the recovery? And now in the corner, it's Mallory Haynes. She thinks twice about a three, and a huge block by Shea Harris, but I believe they're going to call a foul. Yeah, they're going to call a foul against Shea Harris there, I believe, on the swipe down after she caught the basketball. She got a piece of Mallory Haynes on the head. That's at least what the indication was from the referee, so Mallory Haynes will shoot two with a 3-point lead. Haynes' first is no good, off the front iron and then the glass. Haynes a 69% shooter from the stripe this season, as she misses both but gets her own rebound, falls to the floor while dribbling, so no travel. Finds an open player, and it's a new possession for Davidson. Donovan gets it inside for Charlize Dunn. Her layup's no good. Rebound, Rose Nelson.
Great defense from Fordham on that possession.
Yeah, great job by Fordham to not allow a point there. Taya Davis goes with that go-to floater, but it's no good off the back iron. The battle for the rebound has Morwa and Davis behind the play. It's a man advantage for Davidson. Wide open look in the corner. It's no good. Short for Katie Donovan. Rebound by Davidson, though.
You got to get those defensive rebounds. Those offensive rebounds are keeping Davidson alive in these possessions, allowing them to get these second chances.
More than 5 minutes gone in the final frame of play, and there's going to be an offensive foul, I believe. Against Brundunks of Davidson. Both teams with 5 fouls now. Therefore, both teams in the bonus for the rest of the game here. And we are going to take the media timeout under 5 minutes here in the fourth quarter. 4:48 left to go. Both teams in the bonus, as I just mentioned. The Wildcats of Davidson lead the Fordham Rams 51-48. We will be right back on the other side of the final media timeout of the 2024-25 regular season. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
And that buzzer welcomes you back to the John M. Belk Arena. Tucker Austin joined by Ben Oppenheimer, and we are ready for the final 4:48, barring overtime, of course, of the regular season of play here for the Fordham Rams against the Davidson Wildcats. 51-48, the Wildcats lead, and Fordham inbounds. Taya Davis has it. She's guarded by Brundunks, who of course took that shot to the teeth earlier in this game, but has the resilience to still be out there in crunch time. Taylor Donaldson receives the pass down low from Taya Davis, but it gets away from her. Mordwa tries to save the ball, but it goes out of bounds. So a bit of an error there for the Fordham Rams and a turnover. Davidson regains possession with a 3-point lead and 4.5 to go in the fourth.
And that's another wasted offensive possession for Fordham.
It is Charlize Dunn who moves it inside for Millie Pryor, who backs down Carissa Antoine and gets the spin move right-handed layup to go. 53-48 Davidson. Taya Davis has it just past the interlocking DC at half court. They're giving Davis plenty of space at the three-point line as she looks for an option inside. Moves into the paint, goes up with the floater after dribbling Millie Pryor a couple steps back, but the floater is no good.
Again, there's so much isolation in terms of offense. You have to move the ball around. It's getting stagnant out there when Fordham has possession. Really, maybe not the best shot selection on that possession.
Clock's certainly not on their side either, as we're now at 3:30 to go in the fourth. Ball gets away from Donovan, and it's grabbed by Mordwa. Now Donaldson brings it in transition for the Rams. Dribble handoff for Shea Harris. Harris gets it to Antoine. Carissa Antoine gets it to Taya Davis. Taya Davis at the three-point line, now at the free throw line, and it's going to be off the leg of Millie Pryor with no call. She looked just as shocked as I am that that wasn't a kickball. So a turnover, I guess, by Fordham on a no-call kicked ball by Millie Pryor, and the Wildcats have the ball back once again. It's Izzy Morgan at the three-point line. Ball tipped away by Shea Harris. Great play by Harris to get her hand around the driving Morgan and tip it out of bounds.
And Shea Harris showing her defensive abilities with that wingspan, able to disrupt someone driving into the lane or on the perimeter. Definitely a key aspect on that side of the ball.
Izzy Morgan the trigger, and there's going to be a violation. No, a timeout. So just before the 5-second violation at the baseline for Izzy Morgan to release the ball, Gail Folks calls her third timeout of the basketball game. She just has one remaining, 2:48 to go in the fourth quarter. We'll keep it right here, though, during this timeout. It's a 5-point lead for Davidson, and they have possession of the basketball. But still, plenty of things can happen. Fordham, of course, went on a 9-0 run in 2:30 earlier in this game. So things could change very quickly here, but time working against the Fordham Rams rather than for.
Absolutely. And again, what's so fascinating about this game is you look at Davidson's shooting splits. They're shooting 34% from the field, 36% from beyond the arc, but they still have a 5-point lead. And again, I've been saying it over and over, that's because Fordham has 21 turnovers already compared to Davidson's 14.
Donovan has it, and she outlets for Brundunks. Brundunks goes for the lay. It's no good. Harris tries to get the rebound, saves it from going out of bounds, and then Charlize Dunn saves it from going over half court. So a reset shot clock, more time will come off of the game clock. Ball moved up top for Charlize Dunn. She pulls for three and drills it. Charlize Dunn with an absolute dagger, 56-48. Wildcats lead 2:15 and ticking in the fourth.
This game getting further and further out of Fordham's reach. You got to do something right here on this possession.
Fordham desperately in need of points. Taya Davis finds Morwa for three from the right wing. It's short off the iron, rebounded by Donovan. Wilson Saltos crashes into Donovan, trying to move around her and get back on defense, but they are going to call the foul on the contact, though. And being that both teams are in the bonus, that foul is going to send Donovan, probably the last person you want at the free throw line right now for Davidson. And she will shoot two with an 8-point lead. The first of two is good. 57-48. Her second to make it a 10-point lead is also good. 58-48, the Wildcats have reopened their lead to double digits. 1:58 on the clock and a full court press from Davidson.
Their largest of the game so far.
And Taylor Donaldson trying to break the press at half court, loses possession, and it rolls out of bounds. It's another turnover, this time a forced turnover by Davidson on the press. Smart call there by Gail Folks to put the pressure on Fordham's offense when they've had such a hard time getting out of their own end. So now Charlize Dunn inbounds it to Izzy Morgan. It goes back to Dunn, now back to Morgan. It's with Pryor on the right block. She goes outside for Brundunks. Brundunks gets it to Donovan. Donovan for a cutting Izzy Morgan, and her layup is good over the jumping block attempt by Shea Harris. Fordham inbounds it quickly, now down by 12. 1:30 to go, and Bridgette Mitchell calls her first timeout with 1:29 to go in the fourth quarter. 60-48, the Davidson Wildcats have the lead, and it's going to take the biggest run of Fordham's season in probably the shortest amount of time if they want to send this one to overtime.
Yeah, they'd have to pull a Tracy McGrady, 13 points in 33 seconds, right? But, you know, they just, the same narrative that's been plaguing them throughout this game has just reared its ugly head here in the fourth, which is turnovers, 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 unforced errors, things that can easily be prevented, and that Fordham is just letting go and letting Davidson capitalize. There's been a huge momentum shift in these past few minutes because Fordham could not maintain that pressure, their own momentum that they had earlier in the fourth, and it just wasn't enough. You have to play on both sides of the ball, and Fordham just hasn't been able to do that.
Taya Davis pulls for three. It's no good off the right iron, and it's rebounded by Charlize Dunn. There's going to be a foul against Rose Nelson, the intentional foul to send Dunn to the free throw line. It's the fourth of the game for Nelson. So one off, taking a seat for the remainder of this one. Rose Nelson will stay on the court. For Fordham, it's Morwa, Harris, Davis, Nelson, and Donaldson, with Charlize Dunn standing at the free throw line, trying to put this one effectively out of reach. As the first is up and good to make it 61-48. Charlize Dunn shooting 71% from the free throw line this season as she makes the second as well. So 2 for 2 goes Charlize Dunn. It's 62-48 as there's still a light press from Davidson, but Taya Davis moves across the half-court line. 1:14 to go in the fourth quarter. Fordham trailing heavily, but Taylor Donaldson still going to work as Morwa now moves inside, going left to right in the paint, and there's going to be a foul called. This time It is against Izzy Morgan. That's Izzy Morgan's 4th of the game, although maybe too little too late for really worrying about foul trouble. There's a minute flat on the clock as Morwa stands at the free throw line. Morwa's first is good. It makes it a 62-49 game. That's a 13-point deficit for the Fordham Rams.
And she is second in scoring for today's game for Fordham as she knocks down her second there. She's got 13 points on today's matchup. 4 for 7 from the field, 57% overall.
And Taya Davis takes the intentional foul that will send Izzy Morgan to the line. It'll be Morgan's first trip to the stripe of the afternoon with a 12-point lead and 55.6 to go in the 4th. And for the Fordham Rams, I really feel like we've been talking about the turnovers the whole game, but turnovers is only half of the story.
Yeah.
The other half is Davidson converting on those turnovers and scoring on the opposite end when Fordham gives them those possessions. If you look at the points off of turnovers differential in this game, for the Fordham Rams, they have 6 points off of turnovers. Meanwhile, Davidson has put up 22.
Yes.
So that pretty much tells you right there why Fordham now trails by 14 with under a minute to go in the 4th.
It's a stark difference, and I also think a interesting lesson or narrative from this game is sometimes it's unexpected who's going to have a great game, who's going to beat you. You know, you expected, looking at the statistics and the numbers, you thought it would be done, but she's had a quiet game today. 3 for 10 from the field, 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. Only 12 points, but Donovan has just exploded offensively today. 24 points, but not even shooting well. 6 for 16 from the field, but she's 4 for 9 from 3 and 8 for 10 from the line.
Really turned around that free throw percentage.
So she's really been adept at getting to the line, knocking down most of those opportunities.
And her 37 minutes is only eclipsed by Dunn in this game as well.
Yeah. So she's been monumental for this Davidson team and why they're going to end up most likely 99.9% chance of the win today.
Taya Davis has it on the left wing. Now moving left to right to the top of the key. Past a Morwa screen. Dribble handoff to Shea Harris, and they're going to call an offensive foul against Taya Davis as if the Fordham Rams needed any salt on that wound. A kind of odd offensive foul there will give Davidson the ball with 45 seconds to go and a 14-point lead.
Yeah, Taya Davis certainly not pleased with the amount of fouls that have been called on her, definitely pleading her case with the refs, but no cigar as she heads to the bench.
44 seconds to go. Izzy Morgan brings it across half court. Fordham trying to play defense without fouling now, as time will continue to melt off of this clock. The fans start to get on their feet just a little bit. The ball's poked away there by Shea Harris, but it'll stay with Davidson. 14 seconds separate the shot and game clock as a couple of the seniors check in here on senior night for Davidson. I believe it's all seniors on the floor for them now, as the crowd really does come to their feet for a standing ovation at the end of this one. 24 seconds as Adenupe moves inside, misses the layup. Shot clock is turned off. Camilla DePool has it for the Rams. She fires it down low for Morwa under the basket. Goes with the reverse layup, it's no good. Goes back up again, and the layup is no good, but there's a foul. So Morwa still putting in all the effort. You absolutely love to see it. Really all of the Fordham Rams putting in as much effort as they can despite the circumstances. And Morwa will shoot more free throws as now the full senior squad checks off for Davidson. There's hugs abound from the underclassmen thanking their seniors on the court as they come off the home floor for the final time in their career. Crowd still with an ovation as Morwa gets ready for her free throws. The first is good. 64-51. Morwa ready for her second free throw. And she's good once again. So Morwa makes both. And the inbound to Brundunks will wrap things up as the clock strikes 0. And the 2024-25 women's college basketball regular season has come to a close. The Davidson Wildcats get the win on senior night against the Fordham Rams by a final of 64-52. And for the Fordham Rams, this was just an unfortunate case of not being able to put it together on both ends of the floor at the same time. We saw flashes of winning basketball on the offensive end, and we saw flashes on the defensive end. But you look to those turnovers and you look to the points off of turnovers differential in this game, it's glaring. It's the reason why the Wildcats had the advantage for most of the game. Fordham making it interesting in that second half, bringing it all the way back to a tie at 48. But it was the Davidson Wildcats, and it was their seniors on senior night getting it done in front of the home fans.
Well, if you're Davidson, you have to be very pleased with how this season has gone. They've been a formidable team, and they showed it today. They have some potent offense, allowing shooters to get open, knock down some shots with ease, and they played a solid game today. But you also have to give credit to Fordham for staying in this one, being competitive with this Davidson team that has some real talent. And the difficulty is that Fordham just could never calibrate their strong defensive moments with their strong offensive moments. That they were apart from each other throughout the whole game. And when you combine that with the points off turnovers that Davidson has taken advantage of, when you look at in terms of just plain old turnovers, Fordham's 23 to Davidson's 14. Or also personal fouls, Fordham's 23 to Davidson's 16. All of those factored up in why this ended up being a win for the Wildcats today. And at first glance, when you look at the basic stats, the field goal percentage, the three-point percentage, you would think this could be a really close game, something that Fordham could pull out, because Fordham is shooting 41% from the field. Davidson shooting 35%. That is still an interesting narrative that I saw throughout this one. Is on the base level at first glance, you would think that Fordham would almost be in the lead, but it came down to the more minute things on every possession, making the most of every possession. Davidson certainly did, you could say that. Fordham did not. They had many chances throughout this one to really pull ahead, and they literally did when they were tied at 48, and it just did not materialize for them. But when you look at this season overall, heading into the conference tournament, Fordham has, I would say, defied expectations. People thought they would be at the bottom of the A10 conference, and they're tied for 8th. I don't know exactly how it's going to end up after this one, because I know they were tied with Duquesne, I believe, and they beat Duquesne in a buzzer beater in Pittsburgh that our very own Chris Carino called. And, overall, I would say this has been a season where Fordham has played above expectations, and Coach Mitchell certainly has reason to be proud of her team for doing that. And then the question is open-ended into where they end up in the tournament, because we've seen teams. I saw the men's team last year for Fordham. They struggled throughout that season, and then they made a mini run in the conference tournament at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. You're wondering, can Fordham pull something off, pull something unexpected, and surprise the A10 with a run of their own in Virginia in next week's tournament? And it remains to be seen. But this season, certainly one to be admired from an effort standpoint and punching above their weight. Credit to Fordham for a solid season, as well as Davidson for a great season of their own and a great game. It's been great being here in Davidson, in North Carolina. Great state for basketball with you, Tucker. And I think that'll probably just about wrap things up. What do you say?
Yeah, it's been a great experience down here. Great weather. We got a chance to see campus yesterday, and it
beautiful.
was very, very
Awesome.
beautiful. But that does just about wrap things up for us from the John M. Belk Arena in Davidson, North Carolina. Fordham will find themselves, well, we don't know where they will be. They will be either the 8 or the 9 seed, so they won't play on the first day of the tournament, but they will play against Duquesne. Duquesne is tipping off against George Mason right now, and so the result of that game will determine whether or not Fordham is the 8 or the 9 seed. But regardless, Fordham's first game of the A10 tournament will come next Thursday, March 6th at 11 a.m. right here on WFUV Sports. Although, it's still on YouTube, I think. It'll be myself and Chris Carino on the call down at the Henrico Center in Virginia. But once again, that's going to do it for us today from Davidson, North Carolina. The final, Davidson 64, Fordham 52. And for Ben Oppenheimer, I have been Tucker Austin saying thank you very much for listening. And so long, you've been listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.